I watched this movie a lot as a kid. Back in elementary school, I loved it so much that I would wake up early on school days to watch episodes of the spin-off show. Yet, despite my investment in the franchise, I was very young, so naturally I outgrew my love for Lilo and Stitch. But, thanks to the release of the live-action remake this year, I was compelled to revisit the original film, and I was absolutely blown away. And I fell in love with it all over again, albeit for very different reasons this time around. The art and music is top tier, and the character art and animation is some of my favorite of all time. But it's the story that surprised me the most. The world building can leave a bit to be desired, but the characters are unbelievably good, the themes are explored beautifully, and all the visual and audible bits of artistry service one of the most heartfelt narratives Disney has ever crafted. So let's jump straight into the opening with Jumba's trial.
You stand before this council, accused of illegal genetic experimentation.
The Grand Councilwoman then asks Jumba how he pleads.
I would never, ever make more than one.
This chamber is filled with all sorts of wacky aliens. To us human audience members, Stitch looks just like another one of them. But to all of them, Stitch is immediately seen as a misfit. Much of this movie centers on the effects of alienation and being unfairly judged for your differences, and in less than a minute this theme is pushed to the forefront of the story. Gantu leans in and asks,
What is that monstrosity?
Gantu's immediate hatred of Stitch is his most notable and defining trait. He is offended by the very existence of 626.
It is an affront to nature. It must be destroyed!
He's presented as an individual who fits in perfectly with alien society, the same society that exiles Stitch after just a couple minutes of deliberation. A part of what makes Stitch's transformation in the third act feel so triumphant is that as Stitch is embracing his good nature, Gantu is doing the exact opposite. He is so eager to catch Stitch that he, at least in his mind, condemns an innocent girl to being eaten by Stitch. He literally gloats when this happens.
And look, I even got you a little snack.
This highlights how societies might reject people for being too weird or different, but those same societies might accommodate morally repugnant people so long as they present themselves properly. This is reflected in the way that Lilo is completely friendless while Myrtle is depicted as popular. Jumba now responds to his creation being called a monstrosity.
What you see before you is the first of a new species.
Jumba had the sense to protest his innocence before, but now he throws himself all the way under the bus by bragging about all the destructive potential that 626 possesses.
He is bulletproof, fireproof, and can think faster than supercomputer.
This shows that Jumba is far more concerned with people thinking he is intelligent than thinking he is responsible or good-natured. He's very proud of his creation.
He can see in the dark and move objects 3,000 times his size.
He hates the idea of his creation being boiled down to some freak accident. He wants people to know that a lot of talent and ingenuity went into making this experiment. It's why he asks to be called an evil genius when arrested, and why he gets so upset when the headlines refer to him as an idiot scientist. These videos are going to highlight many similarities between Stitch and Lilo, but I think many people overlook how much Stitch reflects Jumba. First, there's the superficial elements. Just look at the eyes and the nose, and the diamond shapes around the eyes, both which have a thin eyebrow attached to the top. Also, their head shapes, their mouths, even Jumba's ears are tiny upside-down versions of Stitch's. This is even mentioned in a joke from the third act.
I tried to give you my good looks, but let's face it, something went wrong.
This hints at the likelihood that Jumba might have even used some of his own DNA to create Stitch, which would further explain some of the similarities in looks and personality. But most importantly, Jumba also seems to share in Stitch's plight as a misunderstood outcast. Jumba acts like Stitch is some planet-destroying monster, but when he describes Stitch's programming in detail, it's comedically restrained.
Where he will back up sewers, reverse street signs, and steal everyone's left shoe.
This sounds a lot more like goblin behavior than a living weapon to me, like the behavior of a damaged child lashing out. Jumba isn't some psychotic killer who wants to wreak as much death and pain as possible. He's a strange and creative person who wanted to make something unique to prove to the galaxy just how smart and capable he always was. Jumba then drops this line,
His only instinct to destroy everything he touches!
which sets up Stitch's struggle with his chaotic programming and understandably prompts concern from all parties present. But despite this concern, the council lady offers 626 a chance to speak. It's a fun moment, and Jumba's shock
I didn't teach him that.
sets up that Stitch's behavior is going to defy even his own creator's expectations. Jumba is arrested, and Stitch is sentenced to exile as we transition to a prisoner transport shuttle called the Durgeon. Stitch is placed in a special holding cell where Gantu explains how the cell works.
These guns are locked onto your genetic signature.
Stitch biting Gantu here helps further the grudge that Gantu will have later in the film. It also facilitates this gag,
Does this look infected to you?
which will be repeated by Myrtle,
Does this look infected to you? Yeah.
and is one of several ways that the film draws parallels between Lilo and Stitch.
As for that abomination,
If I gave Pudge tuna, I'd be an abomination!
After a bit of time has passed, Stitch figures out a way to outsmart the guns and escapes his cell. He gets inside the ventilation system and then sabotages the ship's power supply before hijacking a police cruiser to finish his escape. When the police chase after him, he doesn't simply make the jump to hyperspace. At first, he gets angry at the fleet and turns on his pursuers, angrily lashing out at the swarm of cruisers chasing him. It's not until his ship is damaged that he decides to bail out by activating his hyperdrive. Gantu tells Galactic Control of Stitch's escape, and they get to work on calculating where he's going to crash. The control crew tells the council lady that Stitch is headed for a planet called E-Arth. She requests an Earth expert immediately before she sees Stitch headed for the sea. She asks what it is and is told,
Water. Most of the planet is covered in it.
This establishes that Earth is not well known about, and that a planet being covered in H2O isn't common, even in a neighboring galaxy teeming with intelligent life. It also prompts this line,
he won't survive in water. His molecular density is too great.
This is very important to know later in the story. The Grand Councilwoman doesn't recognize Earth. The person telling her the name doesn't even know how to pronounce it properly. Pleakley, the supposed Earth expert, has a very poor understanding of the planet. All of this suggests that Earth is far from Federation territory and well outside their scope of common knowledge. Hence why she says we'll have to gas the planet. But she makes the suggestion after requesting an Earth expert, and she immediately adheres to Pleakley's advice when he does arrive. She later asks if humans are intelligent the moment she learns of their existence, which is odd because she's already met Cobra Bubbles, but it does show that she cares about sentient life. And considering how many types of species she's interacted with, it would make sense for her to forget about a rare and distant species that she's only encountered once before.
We've been using it to rebuild the mosquito population.
The notion that humans are unintelligent and that Earth's most notable species is mosquitoes is a funny gag that attempts to explain why the aliens don't try to work with the Earth's government. This is again a bit strange considering that the CIA seems to have worked directly with the Galactic Federation before, and it's made even stranger that Pleakley says humans aren't intelligent, but then almost all of his actions indicate that he understands perfectly fine how smart they are. In fact, before he even reaches Earth, he understands humanity well enough to say this,
Landing there would create mass mayhem and planet-wide panic.
which kind of indicates he knows humans have achieved global communication, and he understands that they would have a collective existential crisis if an advanced species rolled up unannounced. The world building here is a bit broken. And it's because the goal here was to construct this cute little scenario where super advanced alien federation only sends two severely under-equipped amateurs to Earth to capture a rogue super mutant. The mosquito gag is basically a band-aid for this problem. All that said, I don't consider this movie a 10 out of 10 because it's literally perfect. I consider it a 10 out of 10 because it's about as close as it gets. So Council Lady says they don't understand Stitch well enough to make a discreet capture.
Who, then, Mr. Pleakley, would you send for his extraction?
This transitions us back to the Durgeon, where Jumba is reading the Idiot Scientist headline and goes berserk in response. When Council Lady shows up, he knows exactly why. He is very pleased with himself to learn that Stitch escaped. Grand Council Lady offers Jumba his freedom in exchange for capturing Stitch, and Jumba agrees. Pleakley asks who is going to control Jumba, and she responds, "You will." Pleakley is forced into this assignment, and this has never sat right with me. She forces him to help with this mission, and even though she is the one who sends two ill-prepared stooges to apprehend 626, a creature that bested an entire galactic fleet and the captain of the Galactic Armada. She somehow considers Pleakley criminally incompetent when he and Jumba fail to catch this same creature in under 3 days. She fires him and says she's going to send him to prison when this is over. This film does have teeth, and that's one of the many things I love about it, but the way it bullies Pleakley can feel needlessly cruel at times. It seems like the main goal with his character was to make him an allegory for an ignorant tourist, and then to punish him extensively for his ignorant tourism. While he is guilty of plenty of tourist-like behavior, him getting punished for it feels unfair because he isn't there willingly at all, so he's not truly a tourist. And out of all the aliens present, he is by far the most concerned with the protection of Earth and its residents, even if it is just for the sake of mosquitoes. So it feels like he's the last one who deserves to get so thoroughly shafted. So Jumba agrees to hunt down Stitch in exchange for his freedom, and Pleakley is coming along for the ride. This prologue brilliantly sets up the characters of Stitch, Jumba, Pleakley, the Grand Councilwoman, and Gantu, all of which are voiced and animated to near perfection. This opening also introduces us to the film's incredibly cohesive style. A lot of designs for the aliens and their technology have an aquatic twist to them. These narrow splotches that exist on Stitch, the Council Lady, Pleakley, even the Durgeon, the police cruisers have vents that look like gills, the blasters look like water guns, and the blaster bullets are very fluid and splashy. And the hyperspace jump creates literal waves that wash over the Durgeon. It doesn't really look like a Durgeon, but it's still named after a fish and has a fishy look to it. And what's the first thing we see when we finally do cut to Earth?
It's fish!
The watercolor backgrounds are absurdly pretty, and the use of color in this film is glorious. I love the green underglow that Stitch and Jumba have when they're standing on these little platforms. It makes both of them look extra sinister and mysterious. And don't even get me started on Stitch's red police cruiser.
Yeah, he took the red one.
He took the red one. This is the only red cruiser on the Durgeon. Stitch gravitated towards something unique, perhaps because it reminded him of himself, or because it matched his jumpsuit, or because he just likes the color red. All we know is that Stitch's personality, some quirk beyond a simple desire for destruction, is what makes him take the red cruiser. And taking the red cruiser, flying a ship that stands out from the rest, is a microscopic bit of self-expression and individuality that manages to worsen Stitch's already unfortunate situation, which reflects Stitch as a character and reinforces the theme, while also making the scene more readable for an audience member. This is just outstanding storytelling. It's been really fun watching this movie back again as an adult. There is just so much quality packed into this movie. I did really enjoy this movie as a kid, and the opening portion in space was always my favorite part growing up. I would actually get kind of bummed out when it was time to go to Earth, but now that I'm an adult, I appreciate this introduction way more than ever before, and yet I no longer see it as the best part of the movie. I'd actually say it's the weakest. The rest of the movie is just that good. Thank you all for watching, and a quick shout out to my generous Patreons, Ellis and Chaos Hang 89. You guys are the MVPs. Chaos Hang has been donating for 8 months, and Ellis has been donating for 11 months. Big thank you to both of you. I appreciate the support very, very much. As for content, there will be more small Lilo and Stitch videos in future, released between Thrones videos of course, but I'm debating putting the rest on the second channel and then putting a supercut of all of them here when I'm done. But like I said, I'm debating it. I'm not really sure what I want to do. And I have also started working on the next Best of Thrones video. That'll be a short one just focused on Littlefinger and his solo scene in episode 7, kind of like the Tywin video. Most of episode 7 is hyper-focused on Dany, Jon, and Ned, so I'm kind of debating whether or not I should break that video into 3 parts, like each about 20 minutes long, focused on their individual characters so they trickle out quicker. But nothing is set in stone quite yet, so let me know what you think of those ideas in the comments, and let me know your thoughts on Lilo and Stitch, or this video in general. Feedback is always appreciated. Once again, thank you for watching, and I appreciate you for sticking around till the very end, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.